Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Wednesday, April 1st, 2015, around 7:34 in the evening, Billerica, Massachusetts. Sun's going down. Tomorrow we could be flirting with 60. Some news to report. The Boston Red Sox split a split squad game with the Minnesota Twins 4-4 and lost another split squad game to the Toronto Blue Jays by a score of 9-7. It's still spring training, a couple more days before the baseball season happens. And the New York Rangers, by one Vegas odds maker, is the odds-on favorite to win the 2015 Stanley Cup Championship. I think the Rangers have a very good shot of winning the Stanley Cup. And in 2 weeks, the Stanley Cup playoffs are coming. And probably on April 13th is my 2015 Stanley Cup playoff preview and stuff. My predictions, who's going to win it. And I know who probably won't win it. I don't think the Boston Bruins are going to win it, in my opinion, this year because they're so hot and cold and stuff. Even though I'm a hardcore Bruins fan, they're not going to win the Stanley Cup this year, in my opinion. But you never know, but the odds favor them not. And I had a great pizza today, pepperoni and anchovies at Pizza Mia on Boston Road in Billerica, Massachusetts. Great pizza place. It's a bar/restaurant and good service there. Okay, my third and final video blog of the night is about my personality profile. Tonight's personality profile is actor William Shatner. William Shatner has been one of the most famous actors of all time. He had a legendary role as Captain James T. Kirk on the classic TV series Star Trek, and in 7 Star Trek movies, the role of Captain Kirk typecast him for a long time, and he almost destroyed his career, and he starred in other series. William Shatner was born and he grew up in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, in the English-speaking section of the city, and he was raised Jewish. And he went to McGill University in Montreal and he majored in commerce, graduated in 1952, and then he started acting around that time as well in Shakespearean theater. He loved to perform stuff in Shakespearean, and he did that through like Canada for a few years, even acting in theater in Canada and some parts of the United States. His first television role was on the Alfred Hitchcock Presents show in 1957, and then his first feature film role was The Brother Karamazov in 1958. William Shatner had bits and parts in movies and television series like Route 66 and Dr. Kilgren. He had 2 appearances on The Twilight Zone. One, what was a famous role, playing Bob Wilson on Terror at 20,000 Feet, which was one of the most classic Twilight Zone episodes of all time. And William Shatner was still getting roles in TV and film, but he didn't have a starring role in a series until 1965, which he starred as the lead in the critically acclaimed drama For the People on CBS, but that only lasted 13 weeks, but it was critically acclaimed and stuff. And too bad cable wasn't back around in 1965, because they said that could have been a cable hit series if cable was around back in the 60s. And then William Shatner gets the role of his lifetime. He's signed to play Captain James T. Kirk on the classic TV science fiction series Star Trek that ran on NBC from 1966 through 1969. Star Trek was not a ratings winner for NBC. It got killed it did poor in the ratings. NBC canceled it after 3 seasons. And this had a negative effect on William Shatner's career, because after Star Trek got canceled, William Shatner's roles on TV and movies kind of dried up, because a lot of a lot of producers thought William Shatner was typecast as Captain James T. Kirk, and they avoided him to be put on anything. He survived on appearing in several Star Trek conventions during the 70s and stuff, and also on being on TV game shows like as a panelist on Match Game and Hollywood Squares, the Liars Club, Crossroads, and the $20,000 Pyramid. And he had bit roles and guest starring appearances on The $6 Million Man, Policewoman, Mission Impossible, Ironside, and a few others. But he did not get any starring roles in any television or movies for almost 10 years. And he was broke out. His marriage fell apart. He was living in a trailer and stuff, and there was thoughts of suicide by William Shatner, but he kind of pulled through. And he also was in a series that lasted 1 year on ABC called The Barnaby Coast, a western, but only lasted 1 year. But by the late 1970s, William Shatner's career took off again because Star Trek was revived as a movie franchise by Paramount. Star Trek, the motion picture, premiered in 1979 and was one of the biggest hits for the movies that year, and it revived William Shatner's career. He starred in subsequently 6 future Star Trek movies. Sometimes he directed some of them, which was pretty good. In the 1980s, William Shatner starred in a television series called T.J. Hooker. He played a former police detective who wanted to go back on the streets and stuff. He had also starred Adrian Zmed as Vince Romano, James Darren as Jim Corrigan, and Stacey Sheridan as Heather Locklear. It was a hit for ABC for 5 seasons and stuff. And this role of Captain as T.J. Hooker probably broke William Shatner as out of his typecasting of Captain James T. Kirk, in my opinion, because if he didn't get T.J. Hooker, he probably still would have been maybe a little bit typecast. But the movies he was making probably would have seen enough money and stuff like that. After T.J. Hooker got canceled, William Shatner starred in a reality television series on CBS for 7 years. He was the host of Rescue 911, which lasted 7 seasons. Was a good big hit by CBS. Also, William Shatner started to write books. He wrote about 4 tech war books. It was a book, a novel about science fiction, tech war, and that tech war thing eventually became a series on the new USA Network in 1995, which William Shatner made some guest appearances on. Also, William Shatner became a spokesperson for Priceline.com for many years about name your own price, mainly for airline tickets and stuff. At one time you could name your own price for groceries and gasoline. I wish you could name your own price for anything like eating out, or name your own price for lap dances. People would name but that probably wouldn't work and stuff like that. And William Shatner continued to appear like in comedy stuff and other stuff and he wrote more books about his Star Trek movie memories and memories of Star Trek. In the 2000s, William Shatner continued to get roles in movies like Miss Congeniality 1 and 2 and a few others. 2004, he starred in another series, this time as lawyer Denny Crane in the TV drama Boston Legal as a Lawyer, which was a pretty good, lasted 5 seasons on ABC. This was a great role for William Shatner and stuff like that, and he's still around today, making appearances here and there, still talking about Star Trek. Sometimes he does parodies of T.J. Hooker and stuff, and he's a very great actor, still going strong at 84 years old, and he's an icon in television and movies as Captain James T. Kirk, which that's one of probably the most legendary science fiction characters of all time, TV and movies. And that's about it on William Shatner. That's about it on these video blogs for tonight. Be back tomorrow. 3 more video blogs. My Facebook friends, YouTube followers, and Twitter. First one will be about Jeopardy, the classic TV game show from 1984 to date, the Alex Trebek version, the one that's probably one of the most popular game shows around. And then the start of the regional professional wrestling territories. The first one I'm going to be covering will be Capital Wrestling, the WWF and the WWF into 1983. I'll cover that from like the 50s to 1983. Tell you the story about the Northeast Regional Promotion owned by Vincent James McMahon. Tell you all about it. And then the third and final video blog of the night will be about another personality profile, which will be about actress Heather Locklear. Coming soon for personality profiles will be Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio because of baseball season. And coming soon, the personality profiles beginning April 5th will be 5 nights of great Minneapolis sports athletes. Vern Gagne, George Mikan, Hanan Killebrew, Dino Ciccarelli, and Fran Tarkenton. And beginning in April 10th, 5 more personality profiles about great ones. And you know what that means. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? And Julie Breton. Don't forget, I like these feedback. Hope you enjoy these video blogs. I love the positive feedback I'm getting. And if anybody's open for a Skype chat, anytime, anywhere, I'm willing to chat with you through Skype. Follow me at chewy7.com on Twitter. Have a good night. See you later. And in the words of Sean Lucha, get out!